Let me just begin by saying I'm pleased with the supporting actions taken by the Bank of Canada this morning. Monetary policy is very important, but as the Governor of the Bank has repeatedly said, the most important thing we can do to help people and the economy in this crisis is for the government to take strong fiscal action. So today, I want to speak directly to small businesses and entrepreneurs. I know that for many of you, the past few weeks have been heartbreaking. You've had to slow down your operations. In some cases, you've even had to close up shop for the foreseeable future. And because money isn't coming in, you can't afford to keep your employees on the payroll. These are really tough decisions. Tough because you don't want to let the people go who help you run your company in their time of need. Tough because some of you have built your business over the course of many years, if not decades. And now it seems like this climate of uncertainty could threaten everything you've worked for. I know many Canadians across the country are saddened to see their favorite neighborhood spots closed. These are the places that make our communities feel like home. Our government knows you're really feeling the impacts of this pandemic, especially with the end of the month coming up. So here's what we're going to do to take some of that pressure off. Last week, we had announced that we would cover 10% of wages, but it's becoming clear that we need to do more, much more. So we're bringing that percentage up to 75% for qualifying businesses. This means that people will continue to be paid even though their employer has had to slow down or stop its operations because of COVID-19. We're helping companies keep people on the payroll so that workers are supported and the economy is positioned to recover from this. That is our priority. We will have more to say on this very soon, but I can tell you that this subsidy for small and medium-sized businesses will be backdated to Sunday, March 15th. For people who've lost their job or are self-employed, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit will still be there to help you. We also know that for small storefront businesses, they're struggling with cash flow right now. It's hard to raise money and make money in this climate. So to help you bridge to better times, we are launching the Canada Emergency Business Account. With this new measure, banks will soon offer $40,000 loans, which will be guaranteed by the government to qualifying businesses. The loan will be interest-free for the first year, and if you meet certain conditions, $10,000 of it will be forgivable. Our government will also provide an additional $12.5 billion through Export Development Canada and the Business Development Bank to help small and medium-sized businesses with their operational cash flow requirements. This means that businesses will be able to apply for a guaranteed loan when they go to their financial institutions to get help as they weather the impacts of COVID-19. Lastly, we're announcing that we will defer GST and HST payments, as well as duties and taxes owed on imports, until June. This is the equivalent of giving $30 billion in interest-free loans to businesses. So if you're struggling to get by right now and you have a payment due at the end of the quarter, we're going to give you more time. It will also allow you to keep the money that you would have been sent to the government and use it instead for your immediate needs. With these new measures, our hope is that employers who are being pushed towards laying off people because of COVID-19 will think again. And for those of you who've already had to lay off workers, we hope you will consider rehiring them given this payroll support. Over the coming days, we will announce additional measures to help the most vulnerable: youth, marginalized people, people who live in poverty. We're going to have more news to share with you very soon. Ce matin, je veux parler aux entrepreneurs et aux propriétaires de petites et moyennes entreprises. Je sais qu'au cours des dernières semaines, vous avez été appelés à prendre des décisions très difficiles. Certains ne peuvent pas se permettre de payer leurs employés. D'autres ont dû mettre fin à leurs activités. La pandémie a déstabilisé l'économie mondiale et le climat d'incertitude dans lequel on se trouve en ce moment vous inquiète grandement. La semaine dernière, notre gouvernement a annoncé une série de mesures pour vous aider, mais vous nous avez dit que vous en aviez besoin de plus. On vous a entendu. Donc aujourd'hui, on annonce des mesures additionnelles pour vous aider. La semaine passée, on avait annoncé qu'on allait subventionner 10 % des salaires, mais c'est clair qu'on doit aller plus loin. Donc le pourcentage passera à 75 % pour les petites et moyennes entreprises admissibles. Ça veut dire que les employés continueront d'être payés même si l'entreprise pour laquelle ils travaillent a dû ralentir ou arrêter ses activités à cause de la COVID-19. On aide les employeurs à garder leurs employés pour soutenir les travailleurs et favoriser la reprise de l'économie. C'est notre priorité. Nous aurons plus de détails là-dessus bientôt, très bientôt, mais pour l'instant, je peux vous dire que cette subvention sera rétroactive au 15 mars. Et pour ceux qui ont perdu leur emploi ou qui sont travailleurs autonomes, la nouvelle prestation canadienne d'urgence est toujours là pour vous aider. On sait aussi que les petites entreprises ont des problèmes de liquidité en ce moment. C'est difficile d'obtenir du financement et de faire de l'argent dans le climat actuel. Pour vous aider à traverser ces moments difficiles, on lance le compte d'urgence pour les entreprises. Grâce à cette mesure, les banques offriront bientôt des prêts de 40 000 $ qui seront garantis par le gouvernement aux entreprises admissibles. Le prêt sera sans intérêt pour la première année et si vous répondez à certaines conditions, 10 000 $ de cela sera non remboursable. Notre gouvernement va également fournir 12,5 milliards de dollars additionnels à Export Développement Canada et à la Banque de développement du Canada pour aider les petites et moyennes entreprises avec leurs besoins de liquidité. Donc, les entreprises pourront appliquer pour un prêt garanti lorsqu'elles se tournent vers une institution financière pour obtenir de l'aide pour atténuer les impacts de la COVID-19. Finalement, notre gouvernement annonce que les gens auront jusqu'au mois de juin pour effectuer leur paiement de TPS et TVH pour rembourser les taxes et les droits exigibles sur les importations. C'est l'équivalent d'accorder 30 milliards de dollars de prêts sans intérêt aux entreprises. Donc, si vous avez du mal à joindre les deux bouts à cause de la pandémie et que vous devez de l'argent à la fin du trimestre, on va vous donner plus de temps pour effectuer vos paiements. Ça va aussi vous permettre de garder plus d'argent pour payer vos dépenses quotidiennes. On espère que ces nouvelles mesures encourageront les employeurs qui pensent être forcés à congédier leurs employés à y repenser. Et si vous avez déjà fait des mises à pied, on espère que vous allez envisager de réengager vos employés grâce à cette subvention salariale. Au cours des prochains jours, on va annoncer d'autres mesures de soutien pour aider les gens les plus vulnérables, les jeunes, les personnes marginalisées, les gens qui vivent dans la pauvreté. On aura des nouvelles pour vous très bientôt. I know the past weeks have been really tough. You're worried about what COVID-19 means for your business and for your future. These are uncertain times, but my message to you today is we're going to be here for you. Small and medium-sized businesses are the backbone of our economy. You are collectively the largest employer in the country. You support millions of families. You serve our communities, and you make our towns and cities better places to live. Canadians are counting on you, and I am counting on you to come back strong from this no matter what comes next. You're going to get the support you need to help rebuild a more resilient and prosperous economy. So to businesses across the country, please keep your workers on the payroll or think of hiring them back. In the meantime, let's keep listening to our public health officials. Let's wash our hands, stay home as much as possible, and keep a safe distance from each other when we go for a walk or when we have to go to the grocery store. Together, I know we're going to get through this. Merci beaucoup tout le monde.
Merci beaucoup, Monsieur le Premier ministre. On va maintenant passer à la période de questions. On va commencer au téléphone avec une question avec un court suivi. Modérateur, c'est à vous.
Thank you. Merci. The first question from Teresa Wright, the Canadian Press. Your line is open.
Good morning, Prime Minister. Could you please tell me when you expect the Americans to decide how they will or will not deploy their military in order to assist their border patrol?
As I've said, Canada and the United States benefit immensely from the fact that we share the longest unmilitarized border in the world. We have expressed to the United States that it would be a mistake to position troops near the Canadian border, and we certainly hope that they're not going to go through with that.
Has the government received formal confirmation that the U.S. will not post troops on the border with Canada, or is this still a possibility? We
continue to engage closely in back and forth with the American administration on many, many issues around the border, and when we have more information, we'll share it. Les Canadiens et les Américains sont extrêmement avantagés par le fait que nous partageons la frontière non militarisée la plus longue au monde et c'est dans notre intérêt à tous de continuer de l'avoir. C'est ce qu'on a exprimé à l'administration américaine et c'est ce sur quoi on continue de travailler.
Merci. Prochaine question.
Thank you. Merci. La prochaine question, Émilie Bergeron, agence QMI. À vous la parole.
Oui, bonjour, M. Trudeau. Il y a un flou sur la PCU. Pouvez-vous indiquer si ça va être imposable ou non? Et aussi, j'aimerais savoir qu'est-ce que votre gouvernement va faire de plus pour aider les médias pendant ce temps de crise. On a vu récemment plusieurs mises à pied successives.
La prestation canadienne d'urgence est un remplacement de revenus comme l'assurance-emploi et comme l'assurance-emploi, ce serait taxable. Mais nous n'allons pas retenir de l'argent à la source, donc les gens vont recevoir l'argent nécessaire immédiatement et dans son entièreté. Parce qu'on a un système de taxation progressif, on va pouvoir s'assurer que les gens qui en ont plus besoin bénéficieront au maximum.
Merci. Prochaine question.
Thank you. Merci. The next question is from Alex Ballangal from the Toronto Star. Your line is open.
Good morning, Prime Minister. Just with these new measures that you're announcing, can you give us a sense of the cost? And I'd also like to know, given that the budget was originally scheduled for next Monday, I believe, when we're going to see like a fiscal accounting of all these spending measures in a fiscal update or a budget?
We've announced today that we will be supporting small and medium-sized businesses with payroll support up to 75% for qualifying businesses. We know that this is going to be a significant measure of investing in Canadians and in businesses so that we can bounce back from the difficult times we're going through right now, both on the health side and on the economic side. We recognize that these are unprecedented investments in the economy, but we also know that they are necessary. They are necessary because we have to get through these coming months of restricted economic activity where people stay at home and work from home or don't go to work as much as possible, focusing on keeping their families safe. But if we can support businesses to keep that relationship with their employees, to keep being able to pay their employees through this time, we know that coming out of this crisis will be smoother and better than otherwise. That is our focus right now. In terms of accounting, in terms of accountability, we will, of course, as was passed in Parliament earlier this week, be engaging regularly with members of the opposition, with the Finance Committee, and ensuring that people are seeing exactly what we're doing. We know that transparency around the investments we're making to support Canadians is important, not just from a democratic and parliamentary principle, but it's also important in terms of giving confidence in Canadians that this government will be there for them while they do what is necessary to keep themselves, their families, their neighbors safe and ensure that we can come out of this stronger than ever before.
Merci. Dernière question avec un court suivi.
Thank you. Merci. La prochaine question, Michel Lamarche, TVA Nouvelles. À vous la parole.
Monsieur Trudeau, j'aimerais vous entendre au sujet de cette annonce d'aujourd'hui. Est-ce que vous êtes en mesure de dire combien à peu près de PME ça pourrait aider au pays et combien d'employés et combien ça va coûter aussi?
On est en train, évidemment, de finaliser les détails. On espère pouvoir tout dévoiler pour lundi. Mais je peux vous rassurer que ce qu'on va faire comme initiative pour aider les petites et moyennes entreprises va réellement aider à pouvoir garder leurs employés, à pouvoir continuer à les payer même s'il n'y a pas ou peu de travail. Je pense à un petit restaurant familial qui est là depuis plusieurs années, et qui a les mêmes employés depuis longtemps, qui ont été là pour eux pendant les beaux moments, pendant les moments plus difficiles. Et maintenant, dans un moment de crise, ils se retrouvent incapables de pouvoir continuer à payer ses employés dans leur moment de besoin. Nous avons besoin d'être là. Et oui, la prestation canadienne d'urgence sera là pour énormément de gens qui en ont besoin. Mais quand c'est possible, c'est mieux pour tout le monde qu'on garde ce lien entre employeurs et employés pour qu'on puisse d'abord, les gens puissent savoir qu'ils ont encore un emploi même s'ils ne travaillent pas et qu'ils vont pouvoir reprendre cet emploi, mais surtout que nous allons tous pouvoir sortir de cette crise rapidement quand le moment viendra. On a besoin que les gens soient rassurés que l'économie va continuer, qu'on ait confiance, pas juste dans notre capacité de se garder en sécurité, mais dans notre capacité de remettre les choses en ordre et de continuer à avoir un pays extraordinaire ici au Canada. C'est exactement ce que nous allons faire. Et par rapport au coût, évidemment, ça va dépendre des décisions qu'on prend au niveau de l'implémentation et du design, mais nous allons absolument nous assurer qu'on fait ce qui est nécessaire pour aider les entreprises affectées par la COVID-19. We recognize that there's still a little more design work to be done on this, and we will have more on all the details, hopefully by Monday, so people can make those decisions to keep people on the payroll, to even rehire people to be back on the payroll. Because we're thinking about that family-owned restaurant. It's been around for years, had many of the same employees for years, employees who've been there through slowdowns, good times, and bad times. And now in this moment of crisis, they're having to lay these people off at their time of need. We know that allowing people to continue that relationship, allow people to continue to feel and to know they have a job, and allow employers to keep supporting those families who work with them is a really important thing, not just for people's confidence, but for the ability of all of us to bounce back strongly from this once we're through it. We need people to be focusing on taking care of themselves and their families and not worrying about what the future will bring. There's plenty of worry for right now in terms of keeping safe. That's why we are focused on being there for you. With the three measures that we're announcing today, with the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, with the payroll support up to 75%, and the significant access to credit for businesses that are squeezed, we are demonstrating that we are there for you to help us through this moment so we can come back once we're all safer, stronger than ever before.
M. Trudeau, en suivi, j'aimerais vous entendre sur le scénario du directeur parlementaire du budget, 112,7 milliards de dollars de déficit pour 2021. Ça, c'est sans compter les dépenses de C13, c'est sans compter les mesures annoncées aujourd'hui. Qu'est-ce que vous dites à tous ces Canadiens qui voient le déficit exploser et qui ont de grandes inquiétudes aujourd'hui?
Le Canada était en très bonne situation fiscale. On a parmi le meilleur situation économique et fiscale de bien des pays dans le monde, avec un dette PIB qui est extrêmement bas et qui nous permet justement de pouvoir prendre les mesures nécessaires en toute confiance pour appuyer les gens dans cette situation d'urgence. C'est une situation complètement hors de l'ordinaire et ça exige qu'on investit pour aider les gens, pour aider les petites entreprises, pour aider les employeurs, mais surtout pour aider les travailleurs et les familles. Et c'est exactement ce qu'on va faire. On a confiance dans le Canada. On a confiance dans les Canadiens. On sait que si on passe à travers ce moment difficile en gardant notre santé, en faisant ce qu'il faut pour se protéger les uns les autres, on va pouvoir retourner à la prospérité qu'on avait avant. Mais nous devons nous assurer qu'on est là pour s'appuyer les uns les autres dans ces moments difficiles pour pouvoir justement rebâtir encore plus fort quand ce sera tout fini. We know that these are exceptional times that have required exceptional measures of investing to support Canadians, to support small businesses, to support the economy at a time of almost total economic slowdown and shutdown. But we also know that Canada's fundamentals are strong. We have one of the best balance sheets in the G7, which allows us to make the investments we need to keep Canadians focused on what they need to do right now. Stay home, take care of their families, look out for their loved ones, with the confidence that our economy will bounce back strongly. If we make sure that people can do the things they can without worrying about the future, there's plenty to worry about right now, about today. So focus on the things you need to do today and know that your job will be there, that your relationship with your employer continues, that we are going to support you through this time and we can come back stronger than ever before afterwards. That is the responsibility of the Government of Canada, of all governments in Canada right now, and that is what we're focusing on. With the measures that we've announced until now, the Canada Emergency Response Benefit, this payroll support to 75%, and the access to credit for businesses to see them through this time. We know we are positioning ourselves not just to be able to do the things we need to do right now to keep our country safe, but we will be able to come back from this stronger than before afterwards.
Bonjour, M. Trudeau, Louis Blouin de Radio-Canada. Vous avez accès, vous, à des chiffres, à des projections, à des scénarios. Il y a des gens assis à la maison en ce moment qui se demandent combien de temps je vais être chez nous comme ça. Qu'est-ce que vous pouvez dire aux Canadiens sur le temps que ça va prendre? Combien de temps il va falloir faire des sacrifices économiques pour sauver des vies? C'est vrai. Est-ce que ça peut même durer jusqu'à l'été?
Okay. On voit énormément de scénarios. Il y a des scénarios beaucoup plus sérieux et longs que d'autres, mais tout ça dépend énormément des choix que les Canadiens vont faire aujourd'hui, les choix qu'ils ont faits pendant les derniers jours, les choix qu'ils vont faire dans les jours à venir. Si on continue d'écouter les experts, si on continue de rester à la maison, de limiter ses déplacements, de se protéger et de protéger ses êtres chers, nous allons pouvoir en sortir plus rapidement. Qu'est-ce que ça prendra? Qu'est-ce que ça va avoir de l'air comme durée? On sait qu'on parle de semaines et peut-être de mois, mais au fur et à mesure qu'on voit si on est effectivement en train d'aplatir la courbe, si on est en train de contrôler l'expansion de ce virus, le répandage de ce virus, nous allons pouvoir prédire avec plus de certitude combien de temps les gens vont être pris dans ce mode de protection. On reconnaît qu'il va falloir qu'on fasse tout ce qu'on doit faire pour passer à travers et on va être là pour le temps que ça prendra. There are obviously many different projections of how long this could last, how serious this could be, how many cases we could be facing. But those projections all hinge on choices that Canadians are making today. Choices they made over the past few days, choices they will be making over the coming few days. I am incredibly comforted by the number of Canadians who are taking this seriously and protecting themselves, their loved ones, and by extension, our healthcare workers and essential workers who are so important in this time of crisis. And the measures that we've announced and the measures we're announcing today will ensure that Canadians are better able to do the things necessary to keep their families safe through this difficult time. So we will be able to say more about how many weeks or months this lasts for as we see the impacts of the behaviors that people have engaged over these days. But I am very optimistic that we're going to get through this in the right way because Canadians do what they need to do to be there for each other and to keep us all safe.
Est-ce qu'il faut s'attendre à une mise à jour économique avant un budget et si oui, pour quand?
On va continuer d'être transparent par rapport aux mesures qu'on met de l'avant. On est en train d'investir, de donner de l'appui directement aux Canadiens, aux petites entreprises, aux entreprises moyennes. On a aussi besoin de faire de l'aide à certaines grandes entreprises dans des secteurs qui ont été extrêmement touchés par cette crise. Nous avons beaucoup fait, mais nous avons d'autres choses à faire aussi et à chaque étape, nous allons être transparents par rapport à ce qu'on fait pour que les gens puissent comprendre, pour que les gens puissent avoir confiance, mais aussi pour que les parlementaires puissent faire leur travail, d'assurer que le gouvernement est en train de faire ce qu'on doit faire pour aider les Canadiens.
Glenn McGregor, CTV News. Prime Minister, at a time when you're rolling out all these programs that are going to require Canadians to interact with government, you're also closing Service Canada centres across the country. And I'm wondering why that decision was taken now at this time, and what is your message to people who might have trouble accessing government services, particularly people, seniors, and people living in Indigenous communities?
Over the past years, we have made significant efforts to ensure that what people can access in the physical Service Canada centres is also able to be and more able to be accessed online. As part of the initiative of encouraging people to stay home and work from home, this is something that we realize we can and should be doing. We want to make sure that Service Canada employees are continuing to work extremely hard to serve Canadians, to respond to their needs, and that's why things are going to be done online and through the phone. And we will be making special considerations for people who are particularly vulnerable and have difficulties accessing those services. Nous reconnaissons qu'on a besoin de pouvoir servir les citoyens dans ces moments difficiles. Mais les bureaux de Service Canada, depuis longtemps, sont en train d'assurer que ces services sont entièrement disponibles en ligne ou au téléphone aussi. Dans un moment où on encourage les gens de rester chez eux, de travailler de la maison, on va s'attendre à ce que les gens de Service Canada continue à servir les Canadiens de la maison. Et évidemment, il y aura des mesures additionnelles prises pour ceux qui n'ont pas la capacité d'accéder en ligne ou au téléphone les services dont ils ont besoin.
This is your 14th day in self-isolation. Every time we've asked you about this, you've referred to doctors' advice. Can you tell us exactly what the doctors have told you about whether or not you have to stay in self-isolation after today?
The doctors continue to tell me to tell us to stay in self-isolation. But at the same time, we're asking Canadians to work from home wherever possible. We're asking people to stay self-isolated as much as possible, to not go out if not necessary, and I am happy to continue to do this. Okay. Je vais continuer d'écouter les conseils des médecins qui me disent de rester en isolement. Mais en même temps, on est en train de demander aux gens de travailler de la maison quand c'est possible, de ne pas sortir si ce n'est pas absolument nécessaire et de ne pas mettre les autres à risque. Alors, je suis content de continuer de faire exactement ça.
Marika Walsh with the Globe and Mail. Prime Minister, did you or any of your officials know that the U.S. would deport asylum seekers turned away at Canada's border when you struck the deal with the U.S. last week?
The work that we've done to ensure that we are staying true to our values and our principles is an extremely important one. We got assurances consistent with the way that the American border officials have interacted with people who attempt to claim asylum at official points of entry. We are keeping consistent with the Safe Third Country law.
That doesn't answer my question. It was a yes or no question, but I have to move on because you've also announced this massive wage subsidy today. Can you give us any specifics on what the conditions will be, whether there is a cap, and how many employers or which businesses it will apply to?
As we said, we're going to roll out more details about this between now and Monday as we finalize it. But it's important to send that message right now, that if you're a small business who's facing the impossible choice of laying off long-time employees because there's just no money coming in and you don't know how long you're going to be able to continue to keep operating, we're there to help you out. We will send a 75% subsidy so you can keep those employees on the payroll, so you can continue to support those families who you've worked with for, in many cases, years. And we can continue to hold together those economic relationships that are going to be so important when we come out of this time of trial for Canadians, as we lean on each other and as we self-isolate and as we slow down and almost stop the economy in many ways. We need to be able to get rolling again quickly as possible once this wave passes us through. Our ability to do that will depend on our ability to be confident in our ability to take care of each other while we're doing it. And that's what we are focusing on right now.
Hi, Ashley Burke, CBC News. Prime Minister, there is a lot of uncertainty and unknowns right now, but Canadians are looking to prepare, and they are looking to you for guidance. Should Canadians prepare for another 5 months in self-isolation at home?
As I've said, the extent of and the length of time that we will have to be self-isolating and going through this freezing of economic activity is very much going to be linked to behaviors and choices that Canadians make right now. If people are diligent about self-isolating, about staying home, about not risking contact with others or further propagation of this virus, then we will be in for a much shorter time in isolation than others. But this is why it is so important and why we are impressing upon Canadians the importance of being responsible in your choices right now, washing your hands often, engaging in social distancing, physical distancing, 2 meters apart from others, not going out unless you absolutely have to, and staying at home. If people can do that, and as we are supporting people enough to allow them to be able to do that, we know that this will last less long.
Brian Mullen, Global News. Agriculture groups and others are urging your government to drop the planned increase in the carbon tax as of April 1st. Is that something you're considering?
We know that it is important that we put more money in the pockets of Canadians at this point when they're stressed. Our plan on pricing pollution puts more money up front into people's pockets than they would pay with the new price on pollution. We're going to continue to focus on putting more money in people's pockets to support them right across the country. We know that this is an important measure for the future, and we're going to continue to ensure that we are thinking about the future while at the same time we ensure that people can afford to make it through this crisis in the best possible way.
So yes or no on carbon tax? Will it go up next week?
We continue to make sure that people have more money in their pockets because that is how we designed the price on pollution.
Merci, c'est ce qu'il m'a fait à la conférence de presse d'aujourd'hui.
Merci tout le monde.